Hey, and what is up, movie viewers? Dena Mo Views and Reviews here, asking what you watching. Well, today I am watching End of the Road, starring Dana Elaine Owens, or as we know her, Queen Latifah, and Christopher Bridges, whom we know as rapper Ludacris, Michelle A. Lynn, Lee, Sean Dixon, and Bo Bridges. Written by David Laurie and Christopher J. Moore. Directed by Millicent Shelton. Now, End of the Road is an action thriller that chronicles a black family driving from their home in Los Angeles to Texas by automobile. Now, this family has just experienced a devastating loss of the husband or the father to cancer, and this has eaten up their funds and resources. So, you get from the beginning that they are having financial difficulties. Immediately from the opening of the movie, it is indicated because the mother, Brenda, who once again is played by Queen Latifah, is inside of a gas station using a credit card that is declined. So she tries a different card. And when she comes out of the store, you can see the disappointment and frustration on her face and in her actions. Brenda is an ER nurse. She has two children. Her daughter Kelly, which is the typical rebellious teenager type, and Cam is her son, who looks to be around 9 or 10, perhaps a preteen, along with her brother Reggie. Now, Reggie is a marijuana smoking elite Chick-fil-A assistant manager with an intent to show everyone that he simply has not lived up to his full potential yet. And he, of course, is played by Ludacris. Now, the four of them are heading to Brenda's mom's house in Texas. You can see Brenda speaking on the phone to her mother. You can hear her, but they never actually show the person that is playing her mother, but she is expecting them on this journey. Now, before leaving, Brenda reflects. She takes a moment to go back into her home that she lost. And she's reflecting, she's remembering her husband and the good times that they had there. And you can tell that she's dealing with a lot of pain because she did lose her house because he needed chemo and radiation therapy, and the cost contributed to her having to lose their family home. She then gets into the car to begin her 2-day ride to Texas. Now, en route, they stop at a gas station. And when they stop at this gas station, there are two Caucasian men there, and they are whistling at Kelly that doesn't take too kind to it, so she shoots them a bird. The two men get into their trucks, and they are driving erratically, just following behind them, almost running them off the road. And they're thinking, what in the heck is going on? But these guys keep harassing them, then they eventually pass by. They pass ahead of them. But to their surprise, they went ahead of them to block the highway and prevent them from continuing the drive. Now, Reggie wants to get out and handle it, but Brenda tells him she doesn't need him to handle it in the way that he would like to. At this time, she's frustrated and she's demanding that he please let her handle this. So what she does, she gets out of the car and she walks toward the two guys, the two Caucasian men, and asks them to please let her pass. And asks what does she have to do so that they will let them be on their merry way. And this is what they ask. They ask her to apologize for endangering their white lives. They want her to say this. Now, these two idiots are demanding this of her, but Brenda wants peace. She wants her family to no harm to come to them, so she's willing to say this. And of course, she says unwillingly, but she said it because she was thinking about her family. And she said, I apologize for endangering your white lives, which is really stupid. But anyway, she gets back in the car and starts on her way down the highway of terror, I'm gonna call it, because they soon stop for dinner and lodging at this Sunset Hotel. Here they are preparing for bed when they hear this noise that is coming from the room next door. And eventually there was a gunshot. And she's telling the children to sit down, and she was going to go see what is going on next door because it might be some kind of domestic dispute involving a woman, and perhaps she can help. Now, Brenda and Reggie rushes to see what has happened, and they find a Caucasian male that has been shot in his neck and he's bleeding. Brenda begins to assist, and she asks Reggie to call 911 and find towels to help her stop the bleeding. Reggie is running around looking for towels, but the guy eventually dies. Spoiler! Now, Brenda, they call 911, of course, and in the next scene, Brenda and her family are shown back on the road, and they're heading back to Texas after being allowed to leave by one of the sheriff's deputies because she gave them the information that was needed, and he gave her permission to leave. Now, when the lead sheriff arrives on scene, he asks to speak with the witnesses because he says they may be in trouble because of this drug cartel thing. And he explained this to the deputy that let them go. So he needed her information so that he can call and let her know that her and her family may in fact be in danger because they can identify the killer's voice. So he calls Brenda saying that he needed them to return. But Brenda was like, no, we're not coming back there. I'm getting my children as far away from there as I possibly can. And I couldn't blame her. She gave them all the information and she did her part. So she explained that she's not coming back. She shared the information and she'll contact him when she gets where she's going. But she hangs up the phone with him, and immediately another phone call comes through, and there's a woman on the line on her cell, and she says to Brenda, I know what you did, and where's the money? And Brenda's like, what are you talking about? And then she says, what money? And she hangs up the phone. She tells her, don't you call back here. Don't call this number again. And then she tells her brother, it must have been a prank call or something. Because she was like, I don't know what money she's talking about. They're just kidding on the phone. But it was not until later that they stopped for lunch at an off-road cafe that her brother Reggie confessed that he took a bag that contained a lot of money from the room of the now dead man that they tried to assist at the hotel. Reggie thought that this money would give them a fresh start. He did not know that the money belonged to a narcotics czar called Mr. Cross. Brenda is upset when she learns this fact, and she asks him, how could you do such a thing, endangering the lives of her children and their lives? So she spoke to the caller and she admitted she has the money and she wanted to return it to them, return that money to them as soon as possible. She didn't want any part of it. And this, of course, is when the nightmare continues for Brenda. They were a part of a kidnap. They were surrounded by white supremacist killers, rapists, drug dealers, just among a few of the shady characters they encountered along the way. There were so many twists and turns and somewhat unrealistic situations that they actually get into. But there was one part when the car was coming directly at Brenda, and she conveniently pulls a flare from her back pocket, rolls on the ground, and throws it into the car. And it causes the car to go up in flames. When the large bag of money that they had inside, it also went up in flames. I was like, oh my goodness. Now, some parts were not exactly believable to me, but I still like this particular movie's ending. This is why I give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. Not to mention, Queen Latifah was very motherly in her role. I like that. And she's a doppelganger to one of my husband's relatives as well. I found Ludacris to be a bit humorous. He was funny. There was a lot of action and it was a bit of a thriller. And even the little twists in the movie made it very interesting to me. I am personally not a fan of the bloody, gory movies myself. So even though there was violence and brutality, it wasn't to the degree as some of the other movies I've seen. And one of the funniest parts to me was when Ludacris told the evil old lady, he said, "Bitch, get your evil Martha Stewart looking ass down them steps." I burst out laughing. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Now, I was really delighted to see that the family survived the horrific experience and even the little surprise that Ludacris bestowed on them in the end. It made me feel blissful, considering all they had to endure, all that they experienced. I felt like it was worthy of that. The End of the Road is rated R, and if you would like to check it out, you can do so because it is now streaming on Netflix. Once you have watched it, leave me a comment on your thoughts on this movie and let me know how you would rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, like, and be sure to comment. Share this video. Discussions with Dena is also on YouTube, and I invite you to check it out and like, comment, and share. You can check out Discussions with Dena on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. This has been Dena Movie Reviews. Join me for my next movie review and recommendation, and I want you to remember, it's my view. Now, what you watching?